Granola the Survivor has made his appearance and epic introduction into Dragon Ball Super as a young man with a pretty rough around the edges look and also sporting goggles as well. At this point in Dragon Ball, however, the Z Fighters are surely well aware that peace, even by their standards, never lasts too long. The battle with Moro has concluded after 2 long years, ending with none other than Goku mastering Ultra Instinct finally. Now, one of my main questions ever since this happened has been, where do we, or Goku to be more specific, go from here? As we catapult into a new arc, the wheels have begun turning as a new evil lies in wait for our Z Fighters. Granola of the cereal race, along with his partner Oatmeal, invaded a ship headed by the scientist Goichi and his crew, looking for the remains of the destroyed android OG-73. If you guys remember, however, 73 was no pushover whatsoever in battle, as his ability alone caused havoc for the Z Fighters, but Granola easily takes on not one, but several of these android-like units that resemble 73 and takes them all out without getting a scratch really. At the moment, not much is known about Granola or his plans and motives, but Dragon Ball Super Chapter 68 has finally arrived with a ton of lore and even a few surprises of its own. Right away, the chapter starts off overlooking the tragic scenes befalling a city. The first thing we notice is that all of these ships resemble pods from Frieza's fleet, indicating that his army has attacked this planet. All across the planet, however, lifeless bodies lay across the land as more and more soldiers descended upon the planet. This is when we see the silhouettes of a handful of great apes terrorizing the town, letting us know right away who the culprits are. A lone person somehow manages to escape and is seen bolting towards a door for safety. Once inside, they take shelter. However, the great apes begin clawing and tearing at the roof until they eventually rip a hole, revealing the hiding person. One by one, the great apes begin to tear down the building, and one great ape in particular, sporting a scar on his cheek, seems very familiar, and I would take note of this for later on if I were you guys. But right before the helpless person is within their grasp, Granola awakes from his sleep panicking and in a cold sweat. "What's wrong, Granola?" Oatmeal asks through the transmitter. "Was it that dream again?" To which he replies, "Yeah." This is when he turns around suddenly, remembering that he's supposed to be carefully transporting the remains of 73. "Don't worry," Oatmeal reassures him. "OG-73 is still in stable condition." "Is anyone following us?" Granola asks. "After the destruction you brought upon them," Oatmeal replies, "not at all." As we cut back to Goichi's ship, where Granola single-handedly retrieved 73 and brought down an entire android army. "It'll be quite a while before we reach the Heater's base," Oatmeal replies. "I suggest a cold sleep." But Granola insists that he's wide awake now. This is when Oatmeal asks, noticing how alert and anxious that nightmare made him again, if he still despises Frieza's army. "Sure do," Granola replies. "Frieza died several years ago though," Oatmeal continues, "and the remnants of his army are but a shadow of their former glory." But Granola isn't so convinced. "First off," he continues, "it was those barbarous apes within Frieza's army who slaughtered my people, the Ceruleans. And even those apes were apparently wiped out by a massive meteor not too long after, indicating that he too has heard the tale of what happened to the Saiyans, however false it may actually be. Goku and Vegeta, however, are still alive and well along with Saiyan friends and family at this point in the story, and they're both more powerful than ever as they return to the God Realm for even more training, boasting their already impressive new powers. However, this will soon prove to be only the surface of what's actually to come. When you think back, it really has been a long time coming for all of us, even the viewers and readers, to get to this point in Dragon Ball, and I honestly can't wait to see what this next new arc has in store for all of us. If you guys want to check out the original Dragon Ball Super manga chapter 68 for yourselves, I always recommend sites like Viz and the Shonen Jump app in order to always support official releases. If you haven't already, be sure to have those notifications turned on in order to never miss an upload as soon as they go live. And if you have been enjoying all of the anime content recently, consider leaving a like on this video as well. Be sure to follow on both Twitch and Twitter to stay up with me and all anime related content, but without further ado, as we return to the God Realm after the celebration and awards from the Galactic Patrol, the first thing we see is Goku preparing for battle as he assumes his stance and concentrates his energy on something. When he pounces, however, he leaps at the Oracle Fish and grabs hold of him before he can slip away again. This is when Whis comes in with a syringe, as it seems he and Goku are attempting to administer him some type of medicine. With a single little prick, Whis gives him a shot, and in an instant, the Oracle Fish is knocked out cold as he sleeps in his bowl. A healthy dose of vitamins is certainly the solution for insomnia, Whis says, as Vegeta asks, "That fish really gets insomnia?" "Indeed," Whis replies. This is when he tells them that actually, when the Oracle Fish suffers from lack of sleep, it's usually a bad omen for the future. This shocks Vegeta obviously, as they can never really seem to get any type of break, but Whis says sometimes it could also be nothing. "Aw dang, you got my hopes up that some kind of really strong fighter was about to crash the party. When will you ever learn your lesson?" Vegeta says angrily to Goku after overhearing that. Hearing this as well, Beerus's ears perk up as he yells at Goku, "Don't give me that 'I want to fight someone strong' crap," he says. "You always wind up being way over your head and then somehow screw me over too." Did something happen?" Goku asks, confused, to which Whis replies, "Yes, very much so." But now that the Oracle Fish has been put to sleep, business can continue for our warriors. "Should we get back at it then, Whis?" Goku asks as Whis prepares for the battle to continue. As his energy calms, Goku's entire demeanor changes as he begins to take on his most powerful form once again. Skipping directly past Ultra Instinct sign, Goku assumes his mastered Ultra Instinct form as his hair and eyes turn silver, with Beerus and Vegeta spectating as well. This is when Whis assumes his stance as well, as he tells Goku, "Well, ready when you are." Goku all of a sudden launches himself high into the air above Whis as the battle begins on Beerus' planet. This is when he scatters himself into half a dozen or so clones and surrounds Whis from all angles, testing out a new power we haven't really seen him use in Ultra Instinct before. Whis simply places his hand out to the side and slices one of the clones in half as he barely budges in order to beat the first UI clone. As they try to ambush him, a simple kick from Whis cleans up the next one, as one thing I did notice here is how Whis is actually having to use his hands against Goku now, or rather I guess he chooses to, which I mean he's still using his hands now, which is a big difference from the other times. The last three clones are made short work of as well, as with a single attack from Whis, he eliminates all of them. Goku tries to take this opportunity in order to sneak attack Whis from above, but of course he expected this and never lost track of the real Goku in battle as the two approach one another. All of a sudden, Whis pops up right in front of Goku's face, catching him off guard as he appears before him. "Your real body never descended," he tells Goku, an obvious ploy. With a single kick to the top of the head, Whis sends Ultra Instinct Goku soaring into the ground and bouncing off the surface of the planet, effectively knocking him out of Ultra Instinct. "Copying me won't get you that far," Whis tells him. "You must develop your own style." As the two continue their training once more, Beerus and Vegeta watch, both kinda bored out of their minds at this point, but this is when Vegeta brings up a very interesting topic. "Is Whis using Ultra Instinct at this moment?" Vegeta asks, to which Beerus replies, "Not exactly. Angels are sort of always in the instinct state," he says, indicating that angels are toned to a more permanent version of the power Goku displays. As Goku continues to try to just lay a finger on Whis to the best of his abilities, even in Mastered Ultra Instinct, Whis continues to easily block all of his attacks with a single hand. "You may already be aware of this," Whis says, "but the ability to wield Ultra Instinct is not in and of itself your ultimate goal." Demonstrating this, Whis easily reverses Goku's attack and tosses him over his back into the lake behind him. In fact, he continues, it's only the starting point, as he foreshadows a power even beyond the Ultra Instinct mastery that Goku wields now. Goku rises from the lake and once again charges at Whis, but yet again to no avail as he's fended off relatively easily. "I have greater command over Ultra Instinct than mirrors," he tells Goku, and in turn, the Grand Priest Ultra Instinct is even more accurate than my own. "Meaning I'm at the bottom of the ladder, huh?" Goku says, as he begins to understand that even though he has attained this power, there are very obvious levels to this. What I mean, Whis says, is that you have at least that much room to grow and train. Doesn't that excite you? To which Goku of course replies that he's really stoked about that. You're not gonna try and master it too, Beerus asks Vegeta as they both continue to spectate Goku's training. It doesn't really suit me, he replies, to which Beerus says that he didn't think so either. I'll surpass Kakarot another way, Vegeta says. Oh yeah, Beerus replies. It might be possible, but that's up to you, as he hops off the rock he was sitting on. Cause Ultra Instinct isn't the only technique of the gods, you know, he says, instantly piquing Vegeta's interest. Yeah, that's just the angel specialty, Beerus says next. Or did you really think us gods of destruction would run around using a move where you gotta keep your heart all calm and tranquil? Wait, Vegeta says stunned. Then, what do you use? Tell me of this technique you gods of destruction use. I'll pass, Beerus says. Training people ain't in my job description. Anyway, he continues, I think I'm gonna go exercise to wake myself up. He says this pretty suggestively as he then looks over his shoulder as almost to cue Vegeta to follow him. If you see anything you want, he says, feel free to steal it. And then he walks off to do his own training as he says, without literally saying, that he won't train Vegeta because, well, really neither of them would want that, but he doesn't need to train Vegeta for him to learn to harness the power of the gods of destruction, so Vegeta follows. Out in space, we're taken to a site in the middle of who knows where, far out in Universe 7. This is when we see Granola dragging the remains of the destroyed OG-73 across a bridge as he comes to the entrance covered by guards. As Granola approaches the entrance, one of the beings that seems to be clearing the entrance notices him. But then he notices that Granola is also dragging the artificial life form OG-73 that someone named Elik has been very fond of acquiring. As Granola continues walking without so much as a word, the other guy begins to say things like, why don't we pretend we found 73 together and split the reward, he asks. The guy I just handed over didn't make much of a bounty and we've known each other forever, come on, he continues. As he reaches down to get a closer look at 73 though, Granola warns him to keep his hands off, or else this Elik person will be paying the bounty on his head as well. Hearing this loud and clear, Soshiru backs off and the entrance to what seems to be a black market pawning site or something opens. As Granola begins down the walkway, he comes upon a throne at the end of the room with a single person sitting in the center, along with a few other associates as well. This seems to be this Elik or Elik person spoken of prior as he welcomes Granola and says that they can always count on him to get the job done. Well, let's see it. Granola rolls the pod containing 73's remains over to Elik as he says, is this what I think it is? Confirm it, Oil, he says as he calls to one of his associates to come over and confirm that this is actually the android they're looking for. Oil takes out a scanner and scans the capsule, confirming that this is the real one that they've been searching for. Well done, Granola, Elik says. Great job. My money. Now, Granola says, giving no cares for accolades, to which Elik of course says that they'll get his reward right away. Maki, a young female that was with them, hands Granola a bag containing his reward as he throws it over his shoulder. So, what are you using that thing for, by the way, Elik? Granola asks before he leaves. You gonna create a goon squad like Goichi was doing? We've got no need for troops here, Elik replies. We heaters aren't running an army here. And if the day ever comes when we do need more muscle, we'll hire the best that money can buy. With enough cash to burn, there's nothing you can't have in this universe. Money. Right, Granola replies. I guess that's true. Dominating others with military might is a relic of the past, Elik says. These days, power comes in the form of money and intel. Intel, Granola asks. The one with the most intel controls the universe. Am I wrong? Elik says to him. And intel is exactly what's packed inside this thing, as he points to 73. Right. Well, I wouldn't know much about that, Granola says. I've got my reward and that's what matters. What's my next job? He asks. About that, Elik starts. The state of things in the universe is shifting, so we don't got many assignments at the moment. This sends a shock through Granola, who is never really without work, but he awaits Elik's next statement. Frieza has also been revived, he says, which stuns Granola to his core. How? He asks. How did he come back to life? To which Alex says that he really has no clue. Doesn't matter how it happened, Alex says. It's bad for business. When people are running scared, they ain't fired up to make deals. However, Granola has begun descending down a spiral of vengeance and madness after hearing that Frieza is alive. Right now, he says. Right now, I could actually kill him. Granola shows a near demonic expression on his face as the chance to finally avenge his people presents itself to him. Where is he demands from Alec. You have to tell me. Why is that? Alec asked him with a smirk on his face. Revenge? Don't even try it, Granola, he says. Frieza's back and somehow stronger than ever, so you'd be playing with fire. Probably wouldn't stand a chance. Let me be the judge of that, Granola demands fiercely. Tell me now. Where is Frieza, he says, as he steps closer to Alec threateningly. Getting a little too close, Granola is immediately attacked by one of Alec's associates as they take out the back of his knees. Granola is then wrapped between their legs and sent flying across the room where he crashes into the middle of the floor. He's then further restrained by Alec's associate as Alec tells Granola he's such a hothead. I know all about your little grudge with Frieza's army, he says, but proper revenge is best served cold. It takes time and planning, so chill out. Put this whole thing on the back burner until we're ready to help you out. Frieza's army is a thorn in our side too. Granola understands and reluctantly agrees and gets back to his feet as he collects his things again and prepares to leave. Glad we have an understanding, Alex says as Granola walks out, telling him to contact him if they get a job for him. For Granola, life has just gotten a lot more complicated as on the outside, he knows he has to keep calm, but on the inside, his vengeance is raging at the news of Frieza being alive again as Oatmeal buzzes in. That piece of garbage Frieza, Granola tells him, he will die by my hand. I will have my revenge. That's all well and good, but remain calm, Oatmeal warns him. Why not treat yourself with your earnings first? So he heads off in their pod once more as Alec and his associates watch him take off from inside. Hearing Frieza's name sure lit a fire under Granola, Maki says. He's really got it out for that guy. Hey Alec, Oil says. Why do you go and mention that Frieza guy anyway? Our dear friend Granola has gotten crazy strong and the power's gone to his head. We'd be in hot water if he ever got stronger than you, Gas, Alec says to the one that took him down with ease. Gas assures Alec that Granola could never defeat him though. Well, you are the pride and joy of our little family, Alec tells him. It is unlikely, he says, speaking of Granola becoming stronger than Gas. However, hedging risk is the rule of business. So you see, Frieza's gonna be the one to ice the guy for us. No rush of course though, Alec says as he turns his attention back to 73. Right now, I'm just fired up to see what we find inside that thing. I'll start running up the analysis. Soon, we'll have exactly what we need, he goes on. The exact location of Zuno, the ultimate intel broker. As Granola flies through space preparing to enter his sleep, all of a sudden an unknown attacker shoots his ship. What was that, he says, as the ship begins to spin uncontrollably now. All of a sudden, this is when Soshiru is seen hawking down Granola's ship, demanding him to hand over the reward he just got for 73 or else he'll be blown to space dust in no time. Soshiru hasn't come alone, however, as an entire fleet of ships surround Granola. That lowlife, Granola says. We'll settle this on that asteroid as he flies towards a barren meteor. Soshiru takes the bait as he and his gang follow Granola to the deserted asteroid. Nowhere to run now, pal, he says, as he reveals dual shanks with his goons behind him. Give up the cash and nobody has to get hurt. Sure thing, Granola says, still from inside the ship. How about I give you half of my earnings and we just both walk away from this? That's mighty cooperative of you, Soshiru says. You should've just agreed to that from the start. Come inside and I'll give it to you, Granola says as he lures them inside the ship. Once on board, the goons can't find neither the money nor Granola as they search all over. This is when they come across the cockpit, assuming that he may be hiding in here. However, when Soshiru invades the cockpit, nothing is there besides Granola's goggles. Too bad that was my voice, Oatmeal says through the transmitter on the device. All of a sudden, Soshiru's associates are hit by an attack that electrocutes them out of nowhere. Even outside, the rest of his gang is dropped one by one as well from the same type of attack, leaving Soshiru to fend for himself. He can snipe without his goggles, Soshiru says, surprised, as we only previously saw this level of accuracy when he fought the androids. He doesn't require my support to snipe the likes of you, Oatmeal says, still speaking through the goggles. Cerulean's right eyes are especially adapted to sniping, and Granola's abilities are a cut above the rest. Atop a cliff across the battlefield, Granola stands with his sights right on Soshiru, and this is the first time we see him without his goggles as well. His right eye resembles something akin to a Jogan from Boruto. Oh, no stun gun for you, Oatmeal says, taunting Soshiru. His next shot will pierce your heart. Get it? Got it, Soshiru says as he finally surrenders. I'm sorry, you'll forgive me, yeah? He asks. I'll even leave my pocket change. Granola of course spares him after he leaves his money, saying a profitable encounter after all, and he heads off plotting on a way to get stronger in order to destroy Frieza. To avenge his lost Ceruleans, he must become stronger. Stronger than anyone. Coincidentally, however, at this time back on Beerus' planet, as the Oracle Fish sleeps, he mumbles something in his dream about Universe 7 and the balance shifting. However, the last thing he mumbles may be the most relevant. Strongest warrior in the universe will soon rise up.